Awesome. Let's kick this off, guys.
Cool.
Welcome to another episode of Baseline Tech Talk Tuesday. And I think this is number 32.
That's right, 32.
And if anybody's new with us today, you can catch all the other previous 31 episodes on the Baseline YouTube channel, which is Baseline Web Training, all one word on YouTube. So search Baseline Web Training, all one word. And I believe this week, Dan put out, how many new videos did you put out, Dan?
I think there's 3 of them, and those are the new feature called Ask the Trainer. You have the opportunity to submit questions, and I'll answer them within the week and put them on YouTube for everybody to see.
Yeah, kind of quick 2-minute or less type how-to videos with maybe, I think this week you did a couple message controller messages. You know, what does this message mean type Q&A. So keep a lookout for that on the Baseline YouTube channel. And quick introductions. I'm Andy Humphrey, Regional Sales Manager for the Northeast. And we have Chris Wright, VP of Sales, and Dan Conger, our Training Manager.
Yep.
And the topic for today is how to become a baseline hero. Woohoo! And we say that jokingly, but also in total seriousness, because if you think about what we do, yes, we turn valves on and off. Yes, the controller sends power to the solenoid and the valve clicks open and it clicks closed. Yes, sprinklers pop up and down. However, that's not why our clients have a baseline system, or you as a contractor or a distributor or a consultant choose to use baseline. And so we're really passionate about making sure that our technology is used the way that we engineered it, the way we design with it, and the way that we intend to operate it. And so what we want to start doing is talking about becoming a power user. And that really means hero status, being a baseline hero, using our stuff the way that we want you to use it. And we want to kind of go through the beginnings on, you know, what it takes to put a system in correctly that you may or may not know, as well as the things that we think are important and that our clients think are important, so that you can do those things properly to get hero status. Right, guys?
Right on. Yeah.
And
so with that, Dan,
everybody that's on Tech Talk Tuesday today joined us, they're baseline heroes, right?
Absolutely.
Especially those that have come back and heard 32 episodes with us. That makes them hero status just right out of the box. So,
yeah, and there's only a few of us at the Baseline company, and we really rely on everybody that's on the call today to help spread our message, help influence more people, more industry to improve upon our systems and use the technology that we've engineered so that we can all become better. And so we want to kind of just remind you of all these things and have you continue to support us and help bring to market the stuff we've been working on. So with that, Dan, let's jump into what it takes to be a baseline hero.
Right. Yeah. When we first had this concept, and I was going down this track of, you know, the installation best practices. Like, so what's the best thing on the hardware? But so kind of looking at the hardware and the process for installing that hardware, but there's so much more than hardware. And there's the setup and how you can use it and how you can configure your system and some of the things that maybe you're going to be creative with it. So that's what we wanted to look at. We wanted to not briefly look at successful installation, but then what makes it more efficient for you to use as a system operator, and then things that make you look good and make you look like the hero that we want you to be.
that's
So
right.
installation. So I'm going to call it the price of admission. The things that you got to get is you got to get the installation done right. And I suspect that everybody on this call is aware of this stuff, but let's just real briefly run through it. We want you to put in the correct 2-wire type. We want you to put in the correct wire length. Don't go too long with your wire runs. The correct splices, right? Splices are king on 2-wire systems. The correct grounding and the correct device load. Don't overload the system. Those are 5 things, and we've beat the drum on the 5 things for a successful installation. Got lots of information online. If you aren't aware of those, you aren't aware of the specific details on that. Most people that do 2-wire in the industry have some version of that. That I think is just core, right? You got to have that done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And oftentimes, we may assume that our clients know what these things are, but our clients don't know what we know. And so it's important that, you as a contractor or a distributor or a consultant also remind the client, whether that's the end user or the architect or the, whoever is actually buying the system or operating the system, what these things are, so that the contractor that's doing it, is supported along the way, and that they look good also by doing the right things with what we all know. The goal is to get the extended 10-year warranty. So if you do the things that Dan just talked about, you can make your client smile by providing them with a 10-year warranty. And that is, pretty amazing.
Yep. And those 5 fundamental things really set the site up for success. And if the performance of the system is successful, then that makes you look like a hero, which is what we want, because that leads to more and more clients. So that reminds me, Andy, you brought up earlier today the definition of a hero status out of the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
To give us a review of that.
Right. Yeah. It goes, you caught me off guard here, Chris. I'm going to have to improvise. It goes something like this. Chris, look at you with all your projects. You ain't doing anything. They just keep coming to you. And then Chris is like, yeah, man, just keeping it hero status. And it's so true, because if you operate on quote unquote hero status, you will have more projects come your way because your clients are happier and you're moving the needle with technology, doing new innovative projects. And then the more you do of that, the more come your way. And so we want to help you do that.
Now, I don't think anybody's going to say, Chris, you're the hero. You put in grounding to specifications. And Chris, you're the hero. You know how to do DBRY6 is the best.
Depends on who you ask.
No, I think it's going to be.
No, but you're right, Dan. It's the results of that, right? So if you do all that, guess what? You might have 0 controller messages. And what happens when we have controller messages? Our clients are like, what's wrong with my system? It's broken. Either you didn't install it right or this baseline stuff doesn't work, because sometimes messages come from poor wire splices, things like that trigger the alarms that we've built. But the idea is to have a clean operating system.
Right. So this is the level playing field of getting that installation right. And then, because if you don't get the installation right, you're going to look like the schmuck, right? Because at some point someone's going to say they didn't ground the system, or that, they had the wrong splices or whatever it is. And it is going to come back and you're just going to look bad. So we definitely want you to look bad. We want you to, at the very least, be neutral, but beyond that, we want to go hero status. So there is an installation thing that I think goes to hero, or to being super, super really good, is super really good. You like that?
Brilliant grammar.
Is keeping track of the serial numbers during installation. So every device has a unique serial number on it, whether it's a bicoder or a soil moisture sensor or whatever it is. And Chris, I'm just going to cue this up for you. They give you these stickers. What do you want them to do with these stickers?
Use your damn stickers.
You're just like,
include them for a reason.
That's right. We give you stickers for this reason, right? So since they match this one, well, let's put one on a list that says what's where. So I know that serial number 456 is actually the northwest corner and 789 is the playing field. Then you can also put it on an as-built plan, right? So there's a basic installation practice on using the damn stickers.
Yeah. And listen, we know if you're on this call with us today, you likely know this stuff that we're talking about, but we want you to help us tell more people, right? Remind your clients, your customers, your contractors how to do this stuff. We know you're on this call, you're a power user, you're all likely hero status anyway, but we just want to remind you to, have this type of conversations with your customers.
The other hardware installation is keep track of your soil moisture sensors, right? So knowing the serial number is great, but where is this sensor? because if you're on a commercial site and they're going to do core aeration, we need to protect this. So we need to physically know where this device is located so we don't aerate that and we avoid any damage to this one. So a physical location. I love the technique of triangulating, pulling 40 feet off of this and 70 feet off of this where those two arcs intersect. There's your device. That's one technique. But once it's buried and it's 6 months down the road, you're going to have to really work hard to find it.
Mm-hmm. They may be very smart devices, but they're not smart enough to self-locate yet.
Ooh, I like that. Yet. That would be good to do. Okay, so that's installation. What's interesting, though, is that's about all I think on hardware right now. There might be a few things we could pick apart. Everything else is going to fall into configure and operation. So the first one is on configuration, is learn flow. So I'm going to jump over to share screen real quick, and let's see. Oh, you did allow me to share screen.
Come on, Dan. It's episode 32 now.
We think we'd have it figured out by now. Yeah. So under flow setup, we got to make sure that we have the flow learned. And actually, I need to jump to mainlines. And learning flow, to me, is part of the installation process. Right. So here we go. So my system hasn't had learned flow. This design flow column right now is empty. Once you've learned flow, that design flow column is populated with all the learned flows, and then your controller can start doing more things. If we haven't learned flow, we are handcuffing it. And well, actually, we're assuming that you've got a flow sensor, right? We're assuming the hardware portion is right, but the learned flow is pretty critical to making your system operate right.
Yeah, Dan, I'm not sure what your next point is, but if you scroll back up and you went to, you're in the mainline setting now, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. If you went to the control point setting, and I can speak to a recent project I was on, if the site has a normally open master valve, as we all know on this call, that means your piping structure is pressurized 24/7. So if there's any type of a break or a leak, it would run 24/7. And if you have a normally open master valve condition, you should always set yourself some conditions to close, because that's what the system is designed to do. And even if you haven't done your learn flow yet, you can still have unexpected flows, and you can still have potential high flows. And I was recently, a couple weeks ago, on a very high profile commercial project. I would say one of the most high profile projects out there. And they had a 1 gallon per minute leak. We just noticed it because I happened to make a site visit, unintentionally. Come to find out, the master valve had not even been searched, assigned, and configured. And somehow they were done with the job, punched off, paid, done. However, it had not been configured.
So that was right. You're talking about right here in the devices right here, whether it was normally open or normally closed. And having that set up right. That's a configuration thing. The hardware is installed, it's glued, it doesn't leak. Wonderful. But
even before you've put all your zones in, if you've got a pressurized main out there, you can easily have put some settings on the master valve. Yeah. So if there is some type of construction blunder where the main line gets hit, it'll shut itself off.
Yeah. Right. The other one that, since flow is so important on managing systems, this flow management section here, design flow is based off of the capacity of your system. So getting that accurately in there, it's doing a little bit of research to find out what size your main line is, what size your control point is, to figure out the capacity and set that in, because that will help you do the manage by flow and be able to actually manage the hydraulics of your system better. Mm-hmm. But then once you know that, then you can set up the high flow limit, or a unscheduled flow, right? We can set those limits. If we don't have that research on the information, we need to get it. Mm-hmm. Now, on a plan, you might be able to pull it off the plan, but if it's a retro, you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to smarten yourself up and go find that.
And this is sort of, you might call this the finesse, of the system. Everyone seems to do a pretty decent job putting in pipe and making their wire connections like you just talked about. And then some of this quote unquote tech computer stuff, they'll skip over it if at all possible, because maybe they don't know how it works. They're afraid to ask, or they don't have the time, and they just quickly try to get punched off these jobs. And, general contractor doesn't know about these settings. Commercial client doesn't know about these settings. And instead, what we'd like to see, for, again, hero status is for the contractor, distributor, specifier, et cetera, to embrace this, set it up, and then show the owner so they can show them the value, go through it with them, talk about these settings so that the client knows the value that they've added. And that's how they get another repeat project like this. Not only setting it up, but showing, the client what it is, how it works, and the importance of it. That's
right. And that kind of brings up a question that's come in. As we talk about this, it's easy for us because of the amount of time that we spend interfacing with our own system to, talk about how easy this is. But if you are a contractor and you're on a site, you don't know where to go to set up a normally open master valve. What kind of training is available or educational resources available from Baseline to find that stuff out. And then, Craig Stockhouse asked, would there ever be a time to have a certified Baseline installers and or techs? So Dan, through learnupon.com, what do we have available?
So from baseline.learnupon.com, that's our learning portal, our learning management system. We have 2 courses that you can get a certificate from. One is an installation basics, and it's really about those 5 things, those nuts and bolts, and a little bit of the tracking and the locating serials. It's about installation. That one, relatively short. There's a test, and there's a certificate that comes with it. Now, we aren't going to require that somebody has to have that certificate to buy the product, but a specifier can say, you must have this certificate to prove that at least you're at least this smart, right? You got this basic knowledge. And I think we'd love to see that specified more often, but then also to have that required, right? So have the architect or whoever is going to check and say, prove to me that you have this basic knowledge. So the other one is we do have a Baseline Fundamentals online, which gets more into the setup and the operation and use of the system. But the installer one is definitely achievable.
Yep. I think, Dan, can you confirm if all the attendees, you've still been adding them to the training portal? Because it's likely that 90% of you all that are on the call today probably have access to the training portal, but I just thought I'd.
I have been, yes. I'll double check that after today. I'll double check it. But everybody has gotten an invitation, whether you've gone in and confirmed your registration or not. But there's a couple of courses that I've set you up in. As soon as you click the registration, you're going to jump into the baseline.learnupon.com. If you go there right now, there's a fee associated with it, but when I register you, there's 0 fees. The other one for the normally open and some of the flow setup, you're in the field. You're not gonna sit down for go through this portal and take a quiz. You just want to know, how do I click a normally open master valve, or what's this advanced flow variance thing about? YouTube, right? Baseline web training. I've got a 3-minute video you can watch on your phone and confirm it. And I've done that before. When I want to look smart in front of someone else, I'll go bone up on something and read or, watch a video. It's like, oh, I know how to do this, even though I just figured it out 2 minutes ago. So
give us a real life example of that, Dan.
How to work Zoom. Nice. So the other one that comes back to operation is naming devices. So this is for your benefit, but it does make you look smarter. So on devices and zones, we can see that these zones are named, but we have the ability to name them uniquely. And this one right now, I can name this zone whatever I want it to be, right? So this could be, the Northwest turf, and I can put something in there about the type of sprinkler head, and then save that, and that will carry through to the controller. Okay. We can also name every single device that's on here. So we could name our pumps, our master valves, our pressure sensors. We can also name schedules and do the same thing. Now, once we name them in Base Manager, they're going to carry over to the controller. So having those names, that just makes you all that much more proficient in there. Then,
yep. And this is why they've either chosen to use Baseline, or someone they have hired has designed with Baseline, is because of all this. And so it's really important that we don't skip these, administrative tasks that may take 2 hours in your office or maybe more, depending on the site, because they are important to the client, to the project. And believe it or not, I see people, contractors, do this part, naming, and they've skipped right over setting up their hydraulics, their flow sensors, their low and flow, their master valves, but they'll do this and they'll skip other parts.
Yeah, this is probably something you could figure out without a whole lot of instruction. But yeah, the flow setup and the normally open or the flow limits, that could be more challenging for people. Good thing you have the resources.
Yeah. I mean, we love, logging in with our clients to controllers and seeing all of that information complete. But I would say it's 50% maybe, 50% do it, 50% don't. So we've got a lot of room to improve, as a team, between Baseline, distribution, contractors, architects, to try to become better at completing these.
Yeah. Maps are another one of those things. I'm going to jump right down to the current controller level, and maps. So I've mapped my site. I've got zones on there. I've got my moisture sensor on there. I've got custom markers. And of course, this is great for operation because I can start them and stop them. But, adding the markers on there, and then if need be, locating them and moving them around is to fit your site. That's another level or another step in that process of dialing in your system and making it functional for you, but also making you look good. Because if you were with the property manager and they said this part of the park is not looking good, you can click on the map and you say, oh, you're referring to zone 20, and they can look right on the map. I'm like, that's actually would make you look very, very smart if you could use that map and if it's been set up. Then through that portion of it, I think there is another portion that's maybe a little bit more boring, but on the truly administration side is, alert subscription, your email and text, right? That to be able to get those alerts out of the system. Once you've set up all those flow limits to get those alerts outside, you got to have that set up right too. So that's almost, you got to do it. It won't necessarily, you'll look bad if you don't set this up right, because you won't get that information.
Very cool.
Now, right. Andy, you had mentioned a next level, right? So we're talking hero. So what's
right.
beyond hero next?
Well, let's see. There's awesome and there's super awesome. So there's hero and there's superhero.
All right.
So
yeah,
Baseline, like, we fundamentally believe in always pushing the limits. And so just because we say, here's what it takes to be a hero, it's like, well, what's next? How do I even become a better super user, superhero? And what, we really like is when you can take our technology and find new opportunities to use it. So some of the things we've talked to you guys about on Tech Talk with filter flush automation and tank level sensing and those sorts of things come from you all, come from the field, come from the ability to take an existing product, an existing configuration technology, and fit it into a brand new market opportunity. And I think that is really, what drives us as a company, as innovators, and what can take your business career to superhero status.
I like that. Baseline superhero. I like the ring of that.
So if somebody has some kind of unique use case like that, how would they communicate that to us? Where should they send that request or inquire about it?
Right. Well, the easiest thing is to contact someone at Baseline that So it could be one of us here on the call. It could be your local regional sales manager. It could be your distributor that may know one of us. Is to just get in touch with whoever within the company, and you're always welcome to contact any of us three here on the call. And then your regional sales manager will be a great resource as well.
Yep. And as a regional sales manager team, we work closely together, collaborating and communicating about these special use cases. So even if, the RSM that covers your area may not have, a full understanding of how to utilize that or implement that, we work together as a team to come up with the story, if you will, that will allow that to play out. And we learn how to use it and configure it and execute on it ourselves. So
right.
Very cool. All right.
I just dropped a link. We had one question about a link to the training portal. So I just dropped that into the chat. It's baseline.learnupon.com. You should all either already have a login and password, or Dan will give you one if you're new with us here today. And I think, Dan, is there a forgot password link if they can't remember how to log in?
There is, yeah.
Okay.
If it's your first time in there, you'll have to confirm your email. But after that, you can do a forgot.
Excellent. All right. So we're approaching the end of our 30-minute session. As we come to a conclusion, I am going to surprise even Dan. He's not aware. But we are going to wrap season 1 of Tech Talk Tuesday with this episode. Okay. So next week is Thanksgiving. We're getting into the holiday season. And we are going to take a hiatus from Tech Talk Tuesday until the first Tuesday in January after New Year's. And we are going to come at you in 2021 with fresh new content, participants, all those things that make Tech Talk Tuesday so intriguing. We're always looking to raise the bar. So with that, over the next few weeks until we resume Tech Talk Tuesday, we encourage all of you to go to baseline.learnupon.com, engage in the modules that are there, participate in the online training, reference all of the videos that are on YouTube, get up to speed, and learn in that capacity as you've got time to do so amidst your other holiday activities and or downtime or whatever you may have going on. And then we will resume this fantastic, intriguing, possibly Emmy winning episode of
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Yeah. So there we have it, y'all. We appreciate your support. We appreciate all of your input and feedback, both good and bad, regarding what we're doing with Baseline Technology. We always appreciate the success stories, and we always appreciate hearing how we can be better as a technology company. In not only engineering, but also supporting our own product as you are using them. So as we come to a conclusion, we thank you and appreciate your support. Looking forward to continuing to support you in the field with Baseline products going forward.
Awesome. Cool.
Yep. Well, thanks for being there with us, guys, every week.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of the familiar faces. It's been good to see you with us, and really appreciate your time and willingness to be a Baseline hero.
Yes.
Love it.
And take advantage of Ask the Trainer over the next few weeks as well. So that is just launching. Dan will be sending out additional links and correspondence regarding it. Please take advantage of that. There's always going to be good content there. And then if you want specific training on any of the capabilities as a company or as a municipality or as a designer, whatever that may be, please get in contact with us so we can schedule that with you over the winter months so that we can keep our training regimen intact and going forward.
Hey, one thought on the Ask the Trainer. If you go to Baseline Web Training, I've already got a playlist for Ask the Trainer. You can get there's a link there to submit. That'll take you right to the submit page. And then of course, we want you to look through other people's questions. It's not just, hey, Andy, only question for you. Everyone else ignore it.
Right. Yep. Brilliant. All right, awesome. Y'all. We're at the bottom of the hour. We are out for the time being. So
2021.
Be safe, have an enjoyable holiday season, and be productive. And we will talk to you later.
All right.
All right.
See you later, all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Baseline out.